Hello guys, I hope you had gone through the previous videos on working capital as well as inventory management. So in this video, we will start our discussion on the next component of working capital, that is accounts receivable or debtors. So the discussion we are going to have from this video onwards is coming under the heading of receivables management, right? So there are three questions we are trying to answer in this video. Question number 1 is this: whether offering credit to customers is a project. How can we arrive at the cash flows for the credit sales alternative? And the last question is how to take the decision on offering credit to customers. Question number 1: whether offering credit to customers is a project. We have already discussed about the relationship between working capital and a capital expenditure decision, which is nothing but a project. So similarly, if you ask the question, is there a relation between accounts receivables and the project, we can say definitely yes, provided the impact of the decision of offering credit sales or generating accounts receivable is going to affect the cash flows of the business over a longer period of time, right? So that means there are cash outflows. Basically, we start with offering credit to customers, so the incremental sales revenue arising purely because of offering credit is one of your cash outflows at time 0. And the second cash outflow is coming from purchase of fixed assets which are required for managing receivables. So that means if you have not offered credit sales so far and you just start offering credit to your customers because of competitive pressures, then what is going to happen to you is you are going to set up a separate office consisting of people who are going to process and who are going to deal with this receivable, right? So in that case, you may need to buy computers, or you may need to go for furniture, or you may go about buying some fixed assets, right? So that initial investment is coming under the heading of cash outflow, right? So that means you may also have delta investment in subsequent periods, that means period 2, 3, something like that, in terms of both your incremental credit sales as well as incremental purchase of fixed assets, right? If that is going to happen, you have to include that under the heading of cash outflows, right? So let me give you some numerical so that you understand this better. So we will take a hypothetical firm in this example, right? That is Nikita Rucha Sneha Limited. We can abbreviate NRSL. So they are opting to introduce credit sales for the first time, and they are expecting incremental sales revenue of INR 50 crores. And they are also going to invest in a depreciable fixed asset amounting INR 1 crore, which will happen in financial year 2021. Yeah. So the second question is this: how can we arrive at the cash inflows for the credit sales alternative? It's a lengthier process wherein I am going to describe 9 steps. So please have little patience and follow this thoroughly. In step number 1, we are going to start with estimating what is the incremental sales revenue from credit sales alternative. We have already assumed that number, that is INR 50 crores for this company. In step number 2, we are going to compute or project the gross incremental EBITDA. I have written EBIT, right? But I have written excluding depreciation. So that means it is basically EBITDA. Let us assume the present EBITDA for NRSL, our hypothetical company in this example, is 20%, and it is expected to remain at the same percentage, that is 20% in future period. That means whether it is cash sales or credit sales, the EBITDA margin is 20%. If that is the case, the EBITDA which will be generated by our incremental credit sales is going to be INR 50 crores into 0.20, that is going to be 10 crores, right? What does it mean, Sitij? This means that the remaining 40 crores is spent on CGS and SGA, right? Yeah. So I take you to the next step. wherein we are trying to estimate the depreciation from initial investment in fixed asset. I told you, Sneha, that we have invested, right, how much in fixed asset? Sneha, could you tell me the figure? Yeah, it is INR 1 crore, you are right. And let's assume there is no salvage value for that. Let's also assume that there is no subsequent right investment in fixed asset or purchase of fixed asset, right? So let's go for the easier method of depreciation, that is straight line method of depreciation. And please remember, in financial analysis, most of the times we go for only considering SLM method. And as I told you already, there is no salvage value. And life of the asset is 8 years because project itself is having life of 8 years. So that means the straight line depreciation per year is coming to be 12,50,000, right? How did I calculate this? Right, Pranav? It is calculated this way: 1 crore minus 0 salvage value divided by 8 years gives us 12,50,000 per annum as depreciation for next 8 years, right? Yeah, correct. So let's go for the next step. The next one is on estimating the amount of bad debts, right? So many of us are in bad mood because of corona, right? So similarly, when a company is going to sell its product on credit because of competitive pressure, what is going to happen to the company is some of its customers are going to default, which you call it as bad debts, right? Yeah, so let us estimate that. Let us assume that it is going to be 4% for this company. So that means 4% on 50 crores. So that is going to be INR 2 crores, right? Please remember, all these numbers are annual numbers. So that means your sales revenue incremental 50 crores and depreciation 12,50,000 and bad debts 2 crores. All these things are going to happen on a yearly basis for the next 8 years, right? Yeah. So now let's go for the next step number 5, wherein we are estimating or projecting the administrative costs for the credit sales, right, alternative. So we have to set up a office, so that means there are people, we have to pay them salaries, and we have right other overhead allocation for this department. So that means put together, let us assume a figure, so that is 50 lakhs per annum for NRSL, right? Let's go for step number 6 now, wherein we are going to calculate the interest income on credit sales. So when the sellers are selling their product on credit, they know that they are not going to collect the money today, rather they are going to take some days in future to collect the money. So that means they know the value of finance, they know time value of money. So what they are going to do is they are going to charge some additional interest on their credit sales, right? So let us assume this company is charging 15% interest on the credit sales, right? Please look at the numbers. I have not written right 50, rather I have written 50 minus 2, because the 2 crores are not going to come to you because of bad debts, right? So that means what you are going to get at the end of the period is only 48 crores, that is gross credit sales minus bad debts into interest rate is going to give you how much is the interest you are going to get on an annual basis. So that is going to be INR 7.2 crores, right? Yeah. So let's go for the next step, that is step number 7. Yeah, Ayush. So here we are going to find out, right, what is your pre-tax EBIT or operating income. So that means we will start with gross EBITDA, that is 10 crores, less depreciation amortization 12,50,000, less bad debts 2 crores, less admin cost 50 lakhs, add interest income of 7 crore 20 lakhs. So that means there are 2 pluses, 3 minuses. So the net outcome of this is 14 crore 57 lakh 50,000, right? So that is going to be your pre-tax EBIT. So in the next step we will be finding out the post-tax EBIT or post-tax profit. So that is going to be pre-tax profit 14 crore 57 lakh 50,000. On that, let's assume tax rate of 50%. That means half of that. So that means we are getting the remaining as your post-tax profit, that stands at 7 crore 28 lakh 75,000, right? So now in finance we are not going to deal with profit, accounting profit, which is computed on accrual basis. We are interested in knowing the cash flow. So that means we are trying to convert this number into a cash flow, right? So how can we do that? We have to simply add the non-cash expense with your post-tax profit. In this example or in this case, there is only one non-cash expense, namely depreciation amortization. So that means please add this 12,50,000 with 7 crore 28 lakh 75,000. So if you do that, guys, you will get post tax annual cash flow of 7 crore 41 lakh 25,000 from this alternative, right? So this is what step number 9. So that means this question is answered, right? This is what your cash inflow for the project on a yearly basis. The last question is this, wherein we have to conclude on whether we should offer credit to customers or not. So that means what we are going to do in this question or in this step is we are going to compare the cost with the benefits of offering credit. The cost are basically the present value of initial investment in project, that is already given to you 51 crores. That is 50 crores as your credit sales plus 1 crore as investment in fixed asset. And we also need to compute the present value of cash, benefits. So that means present value of cash inflows. So then we will also find out present value of salvage value. We will add these two, that is what your benefits, right? Cost is 2, that is your gross credit sales, as well as your 1 crore is your investment in fixed asset. Whereas when it comes to benefit, there are two elements again. One is present value of cash inflow, second one is present value of salvage value, right? Present value of cash inflow is 7 crore 41 lakh 25,000, which is going to happen at the same amount for the next 8 years. So that means we are talking about an annuity, and assume a cost of capital of 12%. So if you are going to do that, we are going to arrive at what is the present value of annuity. So guys and girls, let me recap, or let me help you in recapping present value interest factor annuity formula. So this is 1 minus 1 divided by 1 plus r power n divided by r, wherein r refers to discount rate and n refers to the period. So here it is going to be 1 minus 1 divided by 1.12 power 8, the whole divided by 0.12, that is going to give you the number of 5, right? So the present value of cash inflows is going to be 5 into 7 crore 41 lakh 25,000, which is going to give you 37 crores 6 lakhs 25,000 in INR. Yeah, then we have to find out the present value of salvage value, which is nothing but 50 crores divided by 1.12 power 8. Yeah, Ram? Yeah, you are telling something, right? Yeah. Rishabh, yeah. Raj, all the R's are telling something, man. Yeah. Anshuman, yeah. Abhishek, Akshay, all the A's are also telling something, right? Yeah, all the A's and R, that's what we are talking about now, accounts receivable, right? Yeah. So all the A's and R's are telling something. Yeah, I am hearing. Yeah. So you are right. The numerator is wrong. It's not 50 crores, right? Because out of 50 crores, right, bad debts is 2 crores. So that means what we are going to get at the end is only 48 crores. So that means 48 crores divided by 1.12 power 8, that is 2.48, gives us the present value of salvage value of 19 crore 35 lakhs 48,387. So the total benefits we are going to get from this project is present value of cash inflow the annual numbers, present value, not every year, right? For the entire 8-year duration, it is 37 crore 06 lakhs 25,000, and salvage value is 19.35 crores. So if you are going to add these two, we are getting the total present value of benefits, so that is INR 56.41 crores. So offering credit to customers has given us 56.41 crores as our present value of benefits, and present value of cost is 51 crores. So that means the net present value of the project is INR 5.41 crores. Positive it is, right? Yeah. So what is the conclusion, right, Rucha? The conclusion is NRSL should offer credit sales as it is value enhancing. Guys, the summary is this. There are 3 questions we have discussed in this video. Whether offering credit to customers is a project, how can we arrive at the cash inflows for the credit sales alternative, and the last one, how to take the decision on offering credit to customers. See you in the next video, guys. Take care.